Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Pour myself some parasite cleanse. Is everybody doing okay today? All well? Happy? Joyful? How is everybody? Can you see me and hear me live? 27 beautiful souls on, talking Moldavite tonight. Talking Tektite, talking Herkimer Diamond. Welcome. I'm doing well, thank you. Really well. Just been working on 46 trios, actually. Just finished working on these beauties, 46 of them. So really pleased. Working on 22 of these. That was nice. So I've had a couple of hours, 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half working on them. So that was really nice. It's a form of meditation for me, working with crystals. So it's beautiful. Loud and clear. Great stuff. Thank you so much for that, Peter. Welcome, everybody. Well, it seems that since I actually brought out the Moldavite trio, I think I've done quite a few videos on the properties that I believe within the three crystals work so well. I think I've mentioned that to so many people in so many videos. I think I'd like to go a little bit deeper, and this really is for those who hold a Moldavite, a Tektite, and a Herkimer diamond. Really, if you haven't, then it might be like interesting, I guess. But if you've got one, then we can certainly go a little bit deeper. We can talk about the origins of why and how, and some of the things that help. So this is what my aim is tonight, to really go deep and answer questions with any kind of I think the questions that I'd like to answer tonight is the real life experience of the trios or singular crystals, what they've done, how they've worked, or how you feel that they're not working. And is there anything you can do? Is there anything that I need to know about these things? You might have already ordered one, or you might have gone to your local crystal store and asked for those three to be brought. So it's nice to have a heads up to start with. So that's the Q&A really. I'd rather keep the Q&A, if it's okay with you guys, I'd rather keep the Q&A simple, to the point, which is basically about Moldavite, Herkimer diamond, and Tektite. Therefore, if we stick to that, we can talk about all the, let's say, the deeper things that we haven't really discussed before, and we can go deep. We could do, maybe a full workshop for 1 day, 2 days, maybe even more. But we'll see where we go with this. I'm just gonna cleanse myself a little bit before I start. Clear myself up with some agua de Florida. Whew. I'm going to put some mystical on tonight. Mystical is all the healing oils in one. Okay, fantastic. It's now 7 o'clock, so I am not guilty tonight of starting too early. Welcome everybody to this live and interactive questions and answers, all on Moldavite, Tektite, and Herkimer diamond. So I'd like to begin, first of all, by saying I always feel a little bit empty. I always feel that something's missing when I'm not wearing my trio. And it was the same feeling for me 2 decades ago when I started working with these 3 crystals. At the time, I didn't have enough money to put the 3 crystals together. Plus, I didn't really think about it. I was too busy working as a full-time healer. However, these 3 crystals were always on my neck. There were times that there were other crystals, so I may have 10 or 15 crystals on my neck. On a side note, there's no such thing as having too many crystals on, because each crystal has its unique frequency. And I think crystals bounce off each other. I've never known any crystal that doesn't work well with another crystal, because they all have their own frequency. So they don't vibrate at each other and hurt each other. However, they can have a very positive effect on each other. Never have I seen a negative effect on crystals. I've seen people feeling bad. I've seen crystals helping people detox. So then they put that the crystal isn't good for them. Or I'm frightened of the crystal because they might have heard that Moldavite is a dangerous crystal and shouldn't be used if you're new. I just say that's BS. I'm sorry, but I have to call it out. It's BS. Because if you know Moldavite, you know that that crystal is really doing a profound job in healing. And ultimately, if you keep it on and you get through whatever you're going through, you'll find you'll feel stronger and you'll feel like a new person. Very similar to when you feel sick or ill afterwards, you're a stronger version than yourself. I have never seen anything to the contrary, ever, ever. And I've placed that crystal on thousands of people. So, hey, I could be wrong. But everything that I've seen, everything that I've witnessed with Moldavite has always had a fantastic outcome at the end. And sometimes the clarity of Herkimer diamond can really be mind-blowing. Spiritually speaking, Herkimer diamond, when I used to use it on clients' third eye, they used to be so enlightened at the end of the session that they'd go away and say, I'm going to do this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And it's like, where did that come from? Because it helps you see, it helps you get through this huge forest of not seeing the light at all. And Herkimer diamond has that effect. So too does Moldavite. Moldavite has an effect that clears away the fear, the worry, the trauma. It helps clear the pineal gland. It helps clear all the chakras. It helps in so many ways elevate you to a new frequency. Therefore, a lot of people feel frightened by that. And the simple reason is most people are scared of what they don't know. If they don't know something, they go automatically into fear. Do you know shamans have the opposite of that? I have the opposite of that. If I have any experience, I go into the positive instantly. So if something weird is about to happen, I go into the positive. I go, oh my God, and embrace it. And that's why I ended up being a very successful healer. I didn't buy into all of these so-called spiritual people who tell you to be scared of things. I've been doing this all my life. I had nothing to be scared of, even at the point where I had a negative entity enter me. I still managed to embrace it and fight it off and still grow from it. And you look at those times where you feel what's going on. And I remember fighting with the entity, saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Yes, you're going to go and tell my mum. No, I'm not. You're not telling me anything. And then I ring Shirley. Shirley, there's something wrong with me. Something's not right. Something's inside me. No problem. Come down here. They cleansed me off. It went. It was hard work for sure, but it made me who I was. I wasn't fearful. I was actually angry. I was angry because how dare you come into my energy and take over me and start to tell me what I should do? It was a force energy. It some went. So everything that I've experienced in life, I've said this many times before. These people who spend their time trying to scare you, they're trying to scare you because they want more likes. They want you to say, tell me what to do then. Tell me what I should and shouldn't do. if Moldavite comes into your life, it comes into your life for a reason, or else you won't even have heard of it. So if it's come into your life, there's a reason for it. Just like if somebody walks into your life, there's a reason for it. There's always a reason for something. And if that reason then shows itself, whether good or bad, happy, sad, or horrific, it has to be that something is there for you to grow and experience from. So the trio, when I first started working with these three crystals, it was predominantly the most powerful three crystals that I had around my neck. And it was the three crystals that I would work on most clients. Stubborn clients, Moldavite. Clients going through the most traumatic moment, Tektite. Always. If somebody was unsure, I don't know what to do. Should I leave him? Shouldn't I leave him? Oh my God, Mark, I don't know where I should go in my life. Herkimer diamond, third eye. Anybody who has trauma from being hurt by somebody who's saying bad things behind their back and being nasty and shock, straight to the stomach. Straight to the stomach, Herkimer diamond. Straight to the stomach. I have tons of clients who were saying, walk through the door, I can't shift this feeling of losing my mum or my doggy. And it's been 5 years. No problem. I know what you're saying. It can last forever and it feels the same, right? Straight to the heart. Straight to the heart with this crystal. Anybody who comes in for a healing session and it's evident that I take this crystal and go straight to the throat, this crystal is a crystal that is healing the trapped energy of not being able to speak their truth. You put that on the throat, you work for 1 hour. After that hour, that person is free to be able to speak freely and speaks their truth to a partner who's abusive, to a boss who's a dick, or whatever it may be in their life. A mother-in-law who's nasty, they're able to break that which is stuck on the throat. So people walked in for a healing session, especially men with no belief system in anything other than life is hard, difficult. I have to work 9 to 5. I don't believe in anything apart from having to work. Moldavite, straight on the third eye, 1 hour session. Afterwards, they get up. They're a different person. They're a new person. Why? Because whatever happened to them, whatever experience they went through, which was many, that experience changed their perception of life, because now they saw things they cannot explain. They felt things they cannot explain. So now their world is open to the possibility that there is something else. Even the stubbornness of man who does not believe in anything, a piece of Moldavite on the third eye is a fantastic thing. Fantastic. Fantastic. Herkimer diamond, for me, always seemed to resonate with other crystals in a high frequency. So why is it that all my crystals work so well when a Herkimer diamond was on me, but when the Herkimer diamond was off, the crystals would work lovely, but there's something different in the energy when you are working alongside Herkimer diamond. Why is it that I used to have a huge piece of Herkimer diamond when it used to be cheap? Cheaper. And I used to lay Moldavite on top of it for about 2 years. Why did I do that? I just put it on top. There were so many other crystals I could have used, but it was normally the Herkimer diamond. And something felt profound when the Herkimer diamond was next to another crystal. So it was a natural, organic thing that I didn't think about until later on in the years that I was working with crystals. I mean, I was working with thousands of crystals. Trying to understand all of these crystals in a day is impossible. But over time, there are patterns and feelings. And, oh, why do I keep going back at this particular moment for a certain crystal? Why do I keep putting this crystal next to that crystal? And why do I use this crystal for this? And eventually, over the years, you come up with this like, well, was that really about favoritism over crystals? Because you like it? No. because I love every crystal on my healing table, which was about 50 or 60 of them. And why is it that I go for specific crystals and for no reason? Why did I just go? And then when you finish the healing session, the client will say, I lost a child. Why is it that a month later or a week later, I'll give a healing session to a girl, I get the same crystal, put it in a hand or put it on a stomach, I lost a child. I lost my baby. So it was fascinating that there was definitely 100% connection, patterns, and that the crystal would definitely be used for the same thing over and over again. I used to smile. I used to walk out the door and smile, thinking that this is no coincidence. This is genuine. There's got to be something in this. And the fact that each crystal has its unique frequency is incredible. Incredible. But the problem here is with the MOLDAVITE, Herkimer, and Tektite, every single human being in this spacesuit, the consciousness, their frequency is completely different. So you're different from anybody else. So what you need to work on is your frequency and understand your frequency, understanding what your frequency is, understanding your trauma, understanding your weakness, understanding your challenges, understanding your knee-jerk reactions. And when you look in the mirror and start really being honest with yourself, when you're wearing the trio, these three together, they really help with the trauma. Because when you start to look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm not as perfect as this mind is telling me I am. And why is my mind shutting off from me looking at the things that make me upset? When you wear this crystal and you hold it and you meditate with it, this crystal allows, especially if you hold it in certain ways, and I'm going to go into that in a bit, but to have a crystal that gives you the strength to look at yourself and not feel bad and not start to go into the fear, worry, panic mode. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And when you're wearing these three crystals, first of all, there is always a frequency of your awareness growing because of the Herkimer diamond. So through the day, you might not think anything's happening to you, but actually there's something. The frequency is hitting you all the time. And I believe it hits the pineal gland. I believe it hits your eyes, because my eyes always get better when I'm wearing my trio, and my senses become heightened when I wear the trio. Always I feel stronger. If I'm not feeling well physically, emotionally, I wear my trio through the day and night, wear it in bed, always wake up better. Might have seen more vivid dreams, might have felt more strange things, but it's good. It's good. Something's happening on a level that is strengthening you and awakening. I have a theory about crystals, especially Herkimer diamond and MOLDAVITE, that they awaken certain senses that have been shut down and asleep for a long time, especially in the mind. I also believe that MOLDAVITE combined with the Herkimer not only gives you clarity, but it also, it's like there's parts of the brain that doesn't function. They don't really work very well, and we don't really know why. But my theory about MOLDAVITE is it has a frequency that wakes up part of your brain that is asleep. Now, it might kick in if you're wearing it on your third eye. If you put it here, it might kick in when you're doing meditation lying down. And that was one of my profound moments, lying down and meditating. And it doesn't matter if you fall in and out of sleep, because there's something about this falling in and out of sleep which is fascinating. It takes you into a deep alpha mode or a deep meditation, and it's good for you. Of course, with the trio, they're working randomly, but also randomly meaning that they're going for the let's say the most let's say that you can see 100 people in front of you and you're looking for the weakest one you want to help. The same thing with the crystals. The 3 crystals work randomly by placing it on the third eye. It's randomly looking at the brain, trying to heal the brain at certain places. So if you imagine that the Herkimer diamond is trying to enlighten you by showing you, let's say, things that you've never seen before. If it's sending a frequency, it's trying to blast away at something that is either asleep or covered in a brick wall that's surrounding whatever needs to be awakened. The residue of that, the residue of anything like that, will be picked up by the Tektite. So they work so beautifully together. The MOLDAVITE, after that particular moment has happened, you've now got the MOLDAVITE that is ready to lift you to an even stronger frequency and visibility when your eyes are closed. So many people will say, my God, Mark, I never saw such vibrant colors when that trio was on. So I might start with a Herkimer diamond and I'll take it off, and it's a nice piece of Herkimer diamond, lay it on the third eye, go to the back and do some healing. Might be 15, 20 minutes. And then I'll take that off, and then I'll put I put this on, which was, I had a smaller piece of this Tektite, and maybe work 10 minutes so that the residue would go into the Tektite. And then I'd put the MOLDAVITE on for the next 20 or 30 minutes. And that works so well. So now I've got all three together. It's so much easier because I can rest that on the third eye, go to the back of my client, give healing, and all three crystals work randomly, but I think they work in tandem. So there's some amazingness about that. Now, some of you might say, I bought my MOLDAVITE trio and sorry, some of you might say, this happened to me and it was like terrible. Some of you will say, oh my God, it's just beautiful. I can't explain, but it feels like I need it. Some people will say you feel protected. Some people will say that your heightened awareness is more crazy. Some people will say that you dream differently. Some people will say that it affects people around me. Some people will say I just don't get anything from it. Some people will say, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've tried to work with it, but nothing's happening. So, but when you look at above all crystals, this trio, if you look on a scale of 1 to 10,000, I can guarantee you that 90% will experience something which is different from anything else. So that's a high number of I call hits. That's a hit. That's a hit then. That's a hit. Okay, you didn't feel anything from it. How many times did I hear I didn't feel anything from it? And then I get a message back a week, a month, 6 months, even 3 years. And somebody says, I put it on and it just blew me away. Many times. That was definitely one of the major things that blew me away, because at first you imagine when you're working it thinking, well, it works for me. I don't understand why it's not. It works for my clients. It works for that guy who doesn't believe in anything. Why isn't it working on this lady who really wants it? And I realized that, and when I used to sit in circle, I used to say to people who had MOLDAVITE, let's talk about MOLDAVITE, shall we? And they go, yeah, let's talk about it. I'm not feeling anything. And I said, when you originally got the MOLDAVITE, did you have any expectations at all? Oh yeah, I heard so much about it and nothing happened for me. And that was a familiar pattern. Many people had got to the point where they thought that it was going to be thunderbolt and lightning strikes. let me tell you something. When you look for something, you never find it. You're not meant to look for anything. You're meant to not worry about it, think about it, and just, if something happens, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the expectation is a frequency that actually sometimes can kill the actual experience of Moldavite. It's something to think about, and it's something that I learned, and it's very profound. I do not expect anything whenever I buy any product, any crystal. I don't expect anything. In fact, I say I don't feel anything to begin with. I'm not sure if I am going to feel anything. And then I just pick it up, and it's not even a thought anymore. It's just, if I feel something, it's great. If I don't, I don't. And more often than not, when I'm in that frequency, I feel everything. It's like you can't help it. But if I'm so excited, it's almost like we're creating a devastating effect. It's going to be, you're going to feel let down. It's a bit like, oh, we're going out on Thursday night. Do you want to come out on, we're going out in a month. Do you want to come out? Yeah, I'd love to come out. And you get so excited and you're all ready for it. And then you go out and then you're kind of like, all that excitement for what? And then you can randomly meet somebody, go for a drink, and you could have the best night ever. Why is that? Because you had no expectations. So expectations will and always do let you down. And it's a frequency that is in the mind, and it blocks the whole happiness and joy because you're waiting for something. You want something to happen. I wanted this to happen. It was my night. It was the only night I was going out, and everything was rubbish and it went wrong. Yeah, you created it yourself. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you do. Yes, we do. So it's something we think about when working with crystals. And part of the Pure Energy Healing Crystal course is don't look for anything. It will find you. Don't try and feel for anything. It will speak to you if it's meant to. And that is the best way to work with crystals. No expectations. The crystal does what it does, whether you know it or not. The trio works in a way that nobody could ever understand. No Dr. Emoto, nobody. Why? Because you are a unique expression that nobody else is. What you've been through, your trauma, your gifts, everything that you are, the trio will always attune to you, whether you know it or not. And I've had this conversation as well, where I've sat down with people and they said they never felt anything. And I've had a conversation with them and I asked them about, their life, and started speaking to them about their past and about, 6 weeks ago and this week, how do you feel? I feel a lot better now, and feeling, oh yeah, actually, come to think of it. Oh yeah, actually, wow, yeah, I never thought about it. Yeah, exactly. Because you're so focused on the crystal giving you a thunderbolt and lightning strike that you missed the gentle whispers of what it's doing for you and how you're elevating. I've seen people wear a trio and 6 weeks later I see them again and I'm like, working then? What do you mean? Well, you're a lot different. Can you not see your energy? Last time I saw you, you were really like, you were in bits, and you said you were in bits for like 3 years. Look at you. Oh, never thought about it. And then as a healer, observing these things, you realize that people forget. People forget. People forget they were ill or they weren't well when they're better. They don't remember that. It disappears. A bit like getting pregnant and having a baby. I don't want one again. And then a year later, you're having another baby. I thought you weren't having one again. You said it was so painful. Oh, I know. Yeah, that's right. Same thing with a crystal. Same thing with this trio. It's a perfect combination. And it doesn't matter whether the Herkimer diamond is at the top or the middle. I believe that the middle would have been a perfect place, but it doesn't matter for the distance of where it is. It still works, and frequency is fantastic. So for me, this is my humble opinion. To me, the Herkimer diamond, in truth, I believe is a perfect with Moldavite. it doesn't need really to be with the Tektite, because the Tektite is a great absorber anyway. But what I did notice is when I got the Herkimer diamond and the Moldavite together, it was incredible. So ultimately, whatever's happening here of these two crystals, the Tektite is there to absorb any of the negative residue. So any pain, any suffering, any trauma, any illness, this will always work well. So people have asked me whether the Herkimer diamond should be in the middle. It doesn't matter. It works really well, either or, beautifully. I've had over, I haven't sold that many. I have a company and I haven't sold that many, but we think we've sold maybe 5,700-ish. That's quite a lot in the world of this particular model. And out of all of the crystals that I have on my website, which is about 14,000 that I've hand worked personally with, this one is the one which has the most, let's say, hits. There are so many stories with this crystal. It's incredible. So how do you wear this crystal? Where's the best place for it? Well, at the moment, this one here is basically right where my heart is for the Tektite. So it's right there, it's sat right there. Why is that? Healing the heart a little bit. Okay. The higher it goes, the more I'm working on this. So the higher I go, the more I'm working here. So for me, I normally take it off, lie down and place it here like that. So I've got the Moldavite somewhere around here. If I'm doing some work where I feel that I'm very heavy, feel very heavy, I'll take it off and I'll start to massage on the temples for about 5 to 10 minutes. Just gently massage the temple, and normally you'll feel a pain running up here like this. And that's normally like clearing or starting to break down whatever stress or tension there is. And it'll absorb straight back into it. So you'll feel the initial where the issue is, the block, and then it comes back and comes into the crystal. Also, I will place it on here and move it if I'm feeling any particular block in a place. So if I've got a sharp pain, I will move the crystal to where the sharp pain is. Okay, that's what I'll do. So there's 3 things that I like to do with this when I'm doing my meditation. I'll meditate on my back and then I'll move to my sides. And the reason why is because I like to place this on the side. So if I'm like down here, I'll place it here. Then I'll go on to the other side and place it. Then lie down and meditate at the same time. So some people struggle to meditate lying down. I find it much easier personally. I like to get a nice, comfortable something on my neck and something under my knees, and I'll meditate that way on the floor. Yogi Ajahn likes to do the same thing as well with his clients, and I got used to that and really enjoyed it. Meditating sat in a seat, I've got to be comfortable, and the seat has to be comfortable, or else I'm not comfortable doing it. So, moving back to the moments where certain things happened with this crystal that blew me away. I often talk about a certain language which was spoken when I lay a piece of moldavite on a client, especially on their third eye. This language was something that I'd never heard before. At first, it was like, what are they speaking? Are they Russian? And where they come from? What is this language? And getting closer and closer to hear what they're saying. And to the point where it sounded gibberish, but it wasn't gibberish, because eventually, after listening to a few of these people, different people, you can hear similar sounds. They're not words, but they are words, and it's really interesting. Where is this coming from? What is this connection, and why are they speaking like this? I came to the understanding that the speaking was that they were connecting to the crystal, and the crystal has memory of a world that used to speak, but not in the language that we use as vibration through the mouth. It is a frequency that is spoken via telepathy. And because we are vocal, we are feeling an energy and we are speaking that energy. So when you feel pain, you say, I am in pain, right? When you feel joy, I feel joy. Well, why do you need to say it if you're feeling it? Same thing with this crystal. You're speaking whatever the crystal is. So whatever that conversation is, it's a conversation which is extremely powerful. And I found it fascinating. I never really understood what it was, but I did feel it wasn't negative. It was positive. It would that nobody ever got up and said, that was awful. I feel I want to kill myself. I feel like I've got depression. I feel bad. They got up, and I always remember one guy who got up, and it was like, I didn't need to say anything, and neither did he. And about 2 or 3 weeks later, we sat down again. He said, you know, Mark, I don't believe in anything. My wife told me to come. He says, but I can't explain what I saw. I can't explain the vibrancy of everything when my eyes were closed. And he told me stories of the hour where he was asleep, that everything that he saw was so familiar. And I'd heard this a few times before. The feeling of being at home where there is no familiarity in this world. You can't, how can you be familiar with something that you don't know? So this is one of the things that he explained to me. It's so confusing because I knew where I were, and he explained that what he saw, and I've seen this in meditation many times, energy of a different species floating, and the sea being a different color, and it didn't move. And you know, there was one thing that struck me that it was very similar to, and I don't know if anybody's ever seen this, and it's often made me wonder in my head because I saw it many years ago, and it was with somebody called Jodie Foster, and it was a film called Contact, and it was at the very end of the film where she left the pod and went down onto this world where this being walked up to her and it reminds me very similar of that, where this entity said, I'm your father. And she said, you're not my father. And the entity says, no, because you wouldn't understand if I projected myself with who I am. And many people said to me when they had their third eye opening, because it's kind of like an opening when you connect to something else, that I said, oh, that kind of reminds me of a film called Contact. And they'd go, I'm going to watch it. And then they'd watch it and then call me and said that they were nearly crying. They were crying when they watched that bit because it felt exactly the same feeling. This is the power of MOLDAVITE. This is the connection of MOLDAVITE. So, over the years, I've used it on pets. Not for long, but it's quite beautiful. I've used it on children. Children wear it and are very attuned to this crystal. So they feel things much quicker when they've got it on. And you can see their energy get stronger. They feel happier. They clear negativity. So it's a beautiful crystal for anybody with depression. It's a beautiful crystal for anybody who has deep trauma, who has been raped or abused. Only lately, I met a young girl who was raped very badly. And I sent her one of these. And now I've seen her. She's happy, she's posting, she's confident, and she swears by this crystal and she never takes it off. So there's a lot of miracles with this crystal. And, you know, I haven't really done it with any other crystal, and any other crystal that I've done it with, meaning match up with other crystals, it's never been the same. I matched it up. I've matched about maybe 50 crystals with other crystals, maybe Moldavite and I don't know. It doesn't matter, but nothing comes close to these three crystals working together. And I've tried loads. There's just something that works so well. And the proof is in what people say to me daily of how happy they are and the joy and the goosebumps they get, the feeling they get from this crystal. So that's my understanding of this crystal. I work with this crystal no matter what. If I'm going on meetings, if I'm doing, like today, I went on a meeting to look at a place. It got me balanced. It made me see clearly. It made me see that things that nobody else saw. And it made me come to a conclusion that thank God I had my Moldavite on, because it helped me see what I couldn't see before. And it gave me the strength to say, no, I don't think that's going to work. Instead of my mind saying, yeah, you can do this. And then afterwards, oh my God, what have I done? So it keeps you balanced. It keeps you strong. It's absolutely amazing. So you might ask me, do you need to energize this crystal? Do you need to clean it? I've never cleaned any trio before. I've got some somewhere over there where it's so worn down and so like I had it maybe 2 years or 3 years, and it still works impeccable. It still works incredible. I just like to put a new one on every now and again to feel the energy of the Tektite and the Herkimer diamond and the Moldavite, because every one of them has a different frequency. I don't know whether it's the shape, whether where it's dug, but they all are unique, all of them. So they all have the same kind of frequency, but on if you fine tune each one of them, they're all fine tuned to its own uniqueness. So some people like to buy the big Moldavite trios, the ones at 300-500, and a lot of my my healing colleagues say that they can't live without it, and I couldn't. So the Moldavite's massive. Now that's normally for healers or people who work in the public arena, because they need to feel, they want that big piece on them and it makes them feel good. Like I used to have a big piece. Does it make any difference if it's a smaller piece? No, not at all. It's the same frequency. It will absorb just the same as a big sphere, a small sphere. And as I used to say, if you get a little ball and it's all shining bright, a room, it's going to shine the room, whether it's small or big. So it's the same with this. You don't need to have a massive one. But if you want to localize an area, so you want a quicker result, then yeah, put it on the third eye. Yeah, put it on your stomach, because it's going to absorb that negative energy. And you know what? Sometimes if I've seen a post or somebody saying something bad, nasty and personal about me or my family, I'll take this, right? And I'll turn it around and put it down so it's on my back. And it's like I'll leave it there for as long as I need to, and I can feel the energy on my back being released very quickly without even having to try. However, if you've got a piece of, if you've got your beautiful Tektite and you're hanging it down there and you're meditating, like sat, because you can't lie down on it because it'll hurt your back. But if you're sat meditating, you do your breath work, you're clearing, you breathe in the new, blow out the old, blow out the negative, blow out that what you've just seen. It's not mine. These people are in a bad place. You know, I send you my love and healing. You know what? It's not my issue. These people are in a bad place, or else they wouldn't have said what they said. Okay, you know you haven't done anything wrong. People are just in bad places. They see things that you've said. They look at you and say, I don't like you, Mark, today. I don't like what you're saying. I don't like, okay, you're in a bad place then. Just relax. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. And then just let it go. And that's it. And then when I finished, normally 10, 15 minutes, 20 max, straight back round, leave it on my stomach. Now, you don't need to do that, because if it's on your stomach, it's already working on your back. But sometimes if you isolate right at the point where you want it, it will clear that negative energy which is there. And sometimes it will move as well. So you might want to move the crystal depending on how you're feeling. So if I'm doing a kind of scan on my body, scan work, that means I sit there and just let my body tell me what's wrong and where I need to heal. So I'll ask the body, is there anything that I need to feel? So I'll just sit there. I don't say it out loud. I just sit there, and I literally, my consciousness speaks to my body by saying, what do we need to do today? And sometimes it's just breathing. And sometimes it's a little bit more. And like they'll say, okay, your shoulder isn't good today. And you'll feel your shoulder, and then you'll work on your shoulder. So you'll get your crystal, you'll hold it in your hand, and you will place it there. And then you will hold your other hand out and receive energy and just be there and do the breath work. You must do the breath work, because soon as this is working, there's a beautiful, it's hard to explain. I'd have to talk about this for a long time. But when you breathe in and when you breathe out, something happens which is so profound to the healing as it's taking place, that the breathing is really important. So breathe. Always remember these words: breathe. Breathe in through the nose, blow out through the mouth, because something else is happening on a level that most people don't understand. And it's not important, but just breathe, and you'll feel that area might start to feel tingly or hurt, get even worse. Don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep going. And eventually it shall pass. And when it passes, move it away, then sit down again and focus again, and your body will tell you if there's something else. This is called scanning. You can actually use your hand to scan freely as well. You can go around your body and scan your body, because sometimes people don't feel anything, but by scanning, your hand will get hot somewhere and go, oh my God, I can feel heat there. Okay, leave it there. Take the crystal, hold it there, place it there, and make sure your hand is always facing up, because you're receiving, and just stay there and see what happens. And then if you get another pain at the other side of the head, you're going to move along, or you're going to swap hands and do exactly the same again. Now, yeah, it looks silly, but when you've been doing it for so many years on your clients, and the end result is that you feel better afterwards, then I'm going to say, do it. Do it. Just do it and see what happens. On a final point, before I start taking your questions, I want to talk about the idea of a crystal causing harm to other people, meaning, why do people react to me badly or differently while I've got the trio on? It's very common. Very, very common. So frequency is often felt like you feel it, but sometimes it's normally felt more when you don't know about the crystal. So like I said before, if you haven't got any expectations, the chances are you're going to feel the energy more. So if you encounter somebody you've never met before, they don't know what crystal you got on. They don't know what it is. They don't know anything about crystals, but you can see the frequency hitting them and changing them. And they can be nasty. They can be joyful. They can be, this is a good one. They can be like, ooh. They can then focus on the crystal and say, what a beautiful crystal. Or they can focus on you and think you're lovely. There is a lot more positives. If I'm to measure the amount of people who are positive towards me with this on, I would say it's 70%, maybe 80%. and only 20% may react in a negative. But I always know it's the crystal that is doing something to them to make them react. A bit like your own energy. And never forget, you are the most powerful crystal in the world. So you'll get that even if you're not wearing a crystal sometimes. So that is kind of like a little workshop on the Moldavite, the Tektite, and the Herkimer. Any pains that you have in your body, simply rest that crystal, this pendant, exactly where the pain is. And soon as you feel another pain, that is normally the root cause of where the pain started from. Just a tip, what I learned. The other thing is that energy moves as well. So I can't be sure whether it's the root cause or the energy moving from that place, because there's two things that can happen. So it gets complicated, but we don't need to complicate things. We just follow the pain and work on it till it's gone. And then if you get another pain, don't get overwhelmed. You're clearing what needs to be cleared. That's all that matters. It's kind of simple. It's kind of beautiful. And if anybody ever says to me, Mark, which is the most powerful crystal you recommend? I would recommend these three crystals. Right now, if you were saying, well, I don't want all three, I just want one, I would definitely go for this one at the moment, because we are all doing a lot of clearing out of heavy energy. We are knee-jerking. We are looking at people all the time who are judging us constantly. We are seeing fear all the time on the screen. We are amongst people who are reacting to a bad injection. Some not, some are. There's a lot of negative energy in the air all the time. Our computers, our phones are getting, for some people are starting recognizing this, they're getting more intensive. The energy frequency is getting higher. So people are reacting more and getting more angry and judgmental. So this is an absorber. So that's why I think this is perfect, because all three of these together are heightening you to levels of awareness, helping you see things that you've never seen before, and absorbing the negative energy around you. And that's why I say, and I put my name to this as my prototype that I'm so proud of. So, questions and answers. Any questions at all, guys? The questions that you're asking have to be related to the trio, or else I won't answer them. So it's got to say about the trio or any of these three crystals. I can't answer anything else. So please start from now, from here. Well, no worries. No worries about that. Nice to see you, beautiful soul. So any questions that you have? Yeah. The thing was, I've never had one which has fallen out. So it's difficult for me to get, but I do know that these, if you get it stuck somewhere and it'll pull out, that'll pull out because it's silver. But yeah, once it's come out of its setting, the only thing you can do is go to a local jewelry shop and ask them to reclasp it again. And on my website, and if you tell the girls, we will contribute, I think it's 20 or 25 euros towards the fixing of your trio. I do that out of my heart, okay? But I just say look after it. Look after it. Look after it. I look after all mine. I've got some which are like so many years old. I look after it. I'm very careful with how I use it, because these they don't just fall out. They'll only fall out if you bang it around or you get it pulled. So yeah, that's as much as I can offer, really. How to clean it? look, for me, I think you should follow your own gut feeling. Moon, sun, put it into the ground. Obviously, you dig it and you just cover it gently and then go back to it again. Mother Earth is very good in the grass. Leave it on the grass, but make sure nobody breaks it. Buy a tree, buy a plant. These are the things where you've got energy working all the time. So for me, the Tektite, I've never cleaned a Tektite. Don't have to, because it's a self-absorbing energy. So the Moldavite is always working. It's always strong. Don't have to clean Moldavite. It's so powerful. Herkimer diamond, never had to clean it because I normally put crystals on Herkimer diamond. So that's why I don't really clean it, because it's a self cleaner crystal to me. It's incredible. I don't need to do anything to it, and it works well every day. So the one thing I do when I'm laughing, yesterday I started laughing, right? I kid you not, I started laughing yesterday. I never laughed as much in my life. Okay, I was crying laughing because I've got a crazy Yorkshire. It's not funny to other people. That's not funny, but I was crying with laughter. Toilet paper's running out. It's like joke I've ever fucking made with friends. Friends. So that's basically, I was laughing, I was crying, laughing. I was crying all the way through, crying like silly. But at that moment when I started crying, laughing, I got hold of my crystal and I was holding it as I was crying with that laugh. For some reason now I've got to the stage where I automatically grab my crystal when I'm laughing or when I feel really happy or good. And I believe that is the most powerful energizer, battery charger for your crystal. I said you are the number one crystal in the world. You have the most power. You have more power than any crystal in the world. It's just that we don't realize that because we've been battered by life and the darkness and by governments and by teachers. And so we don't believe in ourselves. So we have to believe in something else. My understanding is this helps you believe yourself. So no, I don't need to cleanse this, but I do hold it when I'm feeling good. And then when I'm feeling bad or feeling down, the crystal will work even more powerful because I'm putting more energy of memory, of love and healing and happiness into it. But yeah, so it's a good question, but I don't worry about it too much at all. Yeah, so that's a very normal thing, and a lot of the times we're clearing out things from our stomach, and for some reason the trio tends to clear a lot of negative emotion, and that can be related to feeling sick. And I felt that a few times. We're a bit like I'd say the expression that many people use, the onion. We keep peeling away. Somebody said to me, is there ever a time that you would take the trio off? And I say no, I leave it on. But I do say to people, if you feel overwhelmed, take it off. Don't worry. But I wanted to work through it. So when I was feeling either sick or I felt dizzy, sometimes your eyes feel weird and they vibrate. I don't know if anybody's felt that. It's a flickering of the eye. Zzz, zzz. That happens because your body is healing. Your body is healing. So there's so many things. One of my friends had an earache for a week wearing it. And then after a week, they could hear better. everything that's ever happened when wearing this, which people thought was a negative, ended up being a positive, and they always felt better afterwards. The ones that didn't was the ones that took it off and never wore it again. So I can only go on what I saw with my clients and myself, if that makes a difference. Kiki, thank you. The position, it's only if you want to go deep. So depending on what you want to do, because you've got a whole load of power points. Some people call them chakras, and you can cleanse the chakras. You can work on certain things if you know your body. It's like if you go for something to eat, right? You know what you're. If you go to a natural fruit organic store, you can feel what fruit is good for you. Same too when you start to work on your own energy. You know what PowerPoint needs cleansing, healing, strengthening. And to me, you can work in this kind of mode. Some people go clockwise, anti-clockwise, or simply just stay there. And just by holding it, you can bring a good energy to a PowerPoint. For me, I just like to rest it. And then if I want to do something extra, I'll take my hand and place it on just above, get my hand comfortable like that, and then hold my hand somewhere comfortable and just leave it there for about 5-10 minutes and listen, see what happens, because sometimes you're then guided somewhere else. So it's a bit like being guided all over the body till the body feels better. So yeah, I think it's all about practice as well. You need to practice it. You need to become a friend with your crystal and work with it. Life, spot on. It is, and very hard to do these days. Yeah, I think like a lot of my friends have the three crystals next to their bed. A lot of my healing friends have them in their healing room as separate crystals and just leave them there. And so did I. I had big Herkimer diamonds in my room. I had moldavites everywhere. I had some moldavites worth 3,000 or 4,000 euros at one point. And the tektite, I had loads of tektites, and it makes the room fantastic. So, but do you need a massive one? No, you don't. This is fine. Just leave it next to you. Like, especially for animals, animals will pick this up straight away. If you put this in your animal bed underneath, that you'll see that it's incredible. The change and the energy is fascinating. So yeah, they vibrate a great frequency. You don't need to wear them, but I saw great change in people, great power in people when they were doing meditation, healing work of all different types. One of my friends in particular who talks about work where they go into past life regression, they swear blind by it. They used to put it on their clients all the time because they got better results. So they're both wearing it. Fascinating, really. Oh, thank you so much, Heidi. I'm just telling you what I've learned. I've learned so much as well. Nice. I think you should follow what feels right. Does Moldavite come in green too? Moldavite is green. Moldavite is green. That's green. That's the green. The tektite is normally kind of, it looks kind of black, but it's a glass, of course, just like tektite. So sometimes when you look at it close, some people say, oh, mine's not a tektite, it doesn't look black. No, sometimes it looks almost like a gray color. So it depends where you get your tektite from. But moldavite too can look a little bit darker, brown as well, depending on where where it's dug. So sometimes it looks so dark, moldavite, that really green, so depends how thick it is as well. Good for you. No, it's not, because I'll tell you why. If you wear it in water, you've got this cap, which inside the cap is a very strong mixture of glue, and they have to set it for 24 hours. This here is also claw setting, but it's also glued as much as it can. So you don't want to destroy the glue. So I wouldn't shower with it. I'd use it as a tool. So the tool is that I wear and then I take off in the shower, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with wearing it in the sun, but I would definitely not recommend wearing it because it won't last for long. You'll find that if that comes loose, you'll have to then re-glue it again. And, so definitely not wear it in the sea. Most welcome. I don't know what that means. Yeah, that happens. The trios are maintaining you all the time from the frequencies that are around. Exactly. It's one of the most commonest things, or well, I guess the most common is the Moldavite flush, where you get hot and you can't breathe and you start to sweat. But the next one is headaches, but there's so many because it's just, yeah. And headaches as well at retreats. There's always, if I ever do a retreat, if I'm ever in a participant in something, very special and spiritual, I always get a massive headache. Always. It's like, it's so painful. But that is the cleansing of my issues. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I try and make as many videos about Moldavite. I don't have that much Moldavite left anymore these days because it became so expensive, and yeah, it's just difficult. It's not that easy, it's just a complicated thing. But every now and again, somebody will call me who I trust and know and believe in and say, hey, come over now. We've got some nice pieces. And I'll get in the mobile home and I'll go and I'll buy Moldavite direct from the Czech Republic. And that's it now. I've stopped buying off nearly every. There's only one guy I now buy from the Czech Republic who I trust, but his prices have gone. I can't afford anymore. I literally can't afford, because it's just going to make my other crystals on the website look stupid in price. So sometimes I'm lucky, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes they're in a good mood, or sometimes they're desperate to sell the Moldavite, and they'll give me a call and say, okay, if you want the Moldavite today, we'll do it at this price. I'll say, okay, I'll buy it. But I'm not being taken for a fool anymore. It's starting to go down a little bit now. But there's a lot. Just be careful. There's a lot of copy now. Lots of copies. Oh my God. A quartz and Moldavite together is a beautiful energy, and a great frequency. I have on my website, I don't know if I've got many left, but I made some with Brazilian quartz and Moldavite, and they are absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Seriously, just incredible. And doing work with them. But that's another story. That's another story. I want to stick with just this at the moment. Yeah, there's so many people who give crystals away. That's nice. That's beautiful. I used to give my crystals away all the time. When people need it, you just know, right? That's great. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. I miss those days when I was like blown away. I miss those days. But because I frequently work with Moldavite all the time, it's not as impacting me right now because I've got so much work to do, and I'm working so hard. It's like you need to take the time. Okay, you need to take the time. You need to take time. You need to give yourself time if you really want to hit those high frequencies. And you know, you got to work on yourself. Well, there's a lot of meteorites out there that are fantastic, but none that I've worked with like Tektite that absorbs negative energy. I've worked with about 30 or 40 different Tektites from all over the world, and they're not the same. This Tektite from Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, that they're the ones that absorb. But other Tektites from other parts of the world, I've never got the same energy from them. I've tried, and I never could. I was fascinated, but not the same. Still don't know what that means. So energy is a frequency that stays in the crystal. It's called memory. I call it memory, and it never goes. It never dies. It stays in there as a frequency. So I have never felt any of my crystals feel as if it's run out of its energy. What I have seen, and what I think a lot of people make the mistake, and I don't mean this to sound awful, but when a situation happens to you and you are now suddenly awake and aware, that situation was done by the crystal. It can't do it twice. It's just done it once. So if there is a block inside your pineal gland and the Moldavite instantly whacks that and you all of a sudden see, then that's the moment. That it's done its work. It can't do that again unless you go back to it a year later and you're back to where you were before. Then it will do it again. But a lot of people mistaken that, oh my God, my crystal, my trio was amazing. Now it doesn't work. No, it exactly worked. It exactly did what it was meant to do. And now you have to do the work. So the problem is everybody wants something to work for them. The Moldavite is there to kickstart you into your spiritual work. And it's incredible how it does that. And therefore, after that, you have to keep doing the work. So it's not there as a miracle worker for the rest of your life. It's there to help you see and open up. And then it's up to you to continue that. So that's how I see it. I don't know if I've explained that right or not, but that's how it feels to me. It doesn't attract darkness. I don't think. I've never felt darkness being attracted to Moldavite or Herkimer diamond or Tektite. Never. But what I have felt is that anybody who is in the vicinity or in the area and may come into your energy or may come to you as a healer, then you've got a beautiful crystal to work on that might be able to help. That might make a difference. So, you know, I remember meeting people who were really, really negative, and I'd offer them, I would say, I'd like to gift you this and put it around their neck. And one guy in particular who was so nasty to me, and he was a medium, I wanted to break the ice and wanted to see if I was able to, you know, be the stronger, be the better person, and not go down that path. And I said, I've got a gift for you from my heart to yours. And I knew he hated me. And he had it for a while, and then he gave it away to somebody else. Did he change towards me? Yeah, he did. He wasn't as nasty. He wasn't as evil. But he was evil to begin with. It was very evil. He was carrying some nasty entity around with him for sure. And the next time I saw him, he was a lot better. And he wasn't the same. He didn't look at me the same. He didn't feel the same. And then he came up to me and he says, oh, I gave that crystal away to a friend of mine. I think they needed it more than me. And I says, oh, that's lovely. That's really nice. I'm glad you did that. We pass things around to help people. It's great. And So no, I've never attracted any dark entity or dark energy while working with these crystals. In fact, I have never in the whole of my time working with crystals attracted anything towards me which was dark. All I can say is that there were circumstances that through the day somebody may be around, and all of a sudden they can try and come into your energy as dark spirit trapped in between two worlds. But that has nothing to do with crystals. There was never, oh my God, this is happening to me all the time because I'm wearing this crystal. No, never. And I entered into a lot of houses, like thousands of houses. So it's like, no, there was never a crystal that brought anything negative. The only thing that crystals do is emit a great energy. And it really does help when you are in the vicinity of somebody who has an attachment, also because it's a protective crystal for sure. And also if you're doing work in a house and the spirit trapped in between two worlds, yeah, Moldavite, Herkimer diamond, and Tektite is a perfect crystal to wear as well. But there's others depending on what you're trying to work on and what you're trying to fix and help. Yeah, I speak. Sounds crazy, but I have a prayer. Whenever I work on one of these, I have a specific. Anyway. I do speak to my crystals as I work with them, and I do have a special prayer depending on what crystal I'm working on. But tektites, I have a unique prayer I say directly into the crystal in each one before they come to you. But yeah, um, yeah, well spotted, well done, you. Yeah, some people love to charge them in the moonlight. For me, I like the sun energy because the sun is more life, but some people love putting them into the energy of the moon. So whatever works for you works for you. Nobody should tell you you shouldn't. You shouldn't. For me, not my best energy because I'm all over the place with the moon. So well, a lot better now. Now that I'm drinking this parasite cleanse, I don't really have much of an issue with full moon anymore. Or normally it was 97%. 97% I go la lunatic. Yeah, well, that's Palo Santo. The oil is called Palo Santo, and it's very, very, very strong, very strong, and it can definitely heighten a lot of your energy and frequency. So now we're talking more oils. Oils are going onto the skin, and it affects the whole body system. So when you work with oils, my suggestion is if you're going through really bad things, or you're heightened, or just for me, my oils, I wear my oils as more to do with either cleansing some away, so I'd use cleansing oil, and if I'm using like mystical oils or high frequency oils, I would use them when I'm wanting to attune to things. So if I'm working with my cards, if I'm working trying to feel things or meditation, but yeah, oils are natural and they will heighten and they kind of sometimes kind of very strong, but still good. But still good. Still good. Me too. I take a break away from my Moldavite trios sometimes too. Sometimes putting them away for a couple of weeks and then coming back to them, beautiful. But that's through your own choice. Nice. Happy lady. Thank you, Rod. Thank you. You see, anybody who says don't do something, okay, why? Why don't do it? I mean, if you have a hammer and they say to you, look, don't hit somebody over the head with it, that I understand. That makes sense. But crystals emit a frequency, and it's a beautiful frequency. It's a healing frequency. I've never met a crystal that's caused any damage to anybody. All it does is awaken and open you up to your higher self. I can't think of anything more silly than to say to somebody, don't put a crystal on you. I can't think of anything more silly than somebody saying, don't put it on your third eye. I have worked with thousands of clients laying the crystals on the third eye. Nobody ever got up and said, that's dangerous. Nobody's ever done that. Never. I don't know. It's just, I recall one client who was, I'm not going to say her name, but she came to me and she had a healing session. And when she went home, she said, this was right at the very beginning. She said, oh, do you know what you're doing? I said, well, I think so. I've been doing it for a short while now and everybody seems to be happy. So why? What's wrong? She says, oh, I nearly drove myself off the mountain. I went, shit. And I went home and I was thinking, okay, I need to stop this. But I meditated on it for a while and she became one of my best clients. And she said that healing session changed her life because of what she was going through and the trauma that had trapped within her. And she realized it wasn't the healing session. It was just the healing session helped to see what she needed to clear that she didn't know. She didn't realize she had such pain and suffering from what she had went through in the Iraq war and the personal things that happened to her by her fellow soldiers and so on. So then she told everybody that healing session changed her life. So there was never a point that I can say to anybody about healing and about crystals that anything ever caused any issue, because I'd have thrown the towel in and said, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. I've 10 or 20 people or 30 people who say, no, this is bad. This is bad. I won't do it anymore. So anybody who says, direct, don't put something directly, I would say I'd be very suspicious of these people. Very suspicious. Beautiful. Beautiful. It is. It is. And sometimes that changes as well, because I used to feel certain things through the years and then the things changed. So as a healer or a worker with crystals, what I would feel from one point to another point sometimes would change. The frequency of spirit has always been the same to me. It's normally my ear rings and then I can feel spirit in the room. That's normally been a constant for me. But sometimes I'll feel spirit while I'm working and they'll come into my energy and I'll feel this inner peace that is so incredible that I just want to cry. So there's certain patterns that when you're a healer and you work, it's normally phenomenal. But most of the time, over a certain period of time, frequency within you changes. And I think we all change all the time. So it makes sense that things don't always stay the same. Nice. Beautiful. Well, thank you for trusting in my work. Okay, guys. Oh, good luck and enjoy it and relax in with it and just flow with it. Don't think about it. Just wear it and don't. And if you're doing meditation, great. Take it off and hold it in your meditation. Before you go to sleep, stick it on your third eye. Great, beautiful. But don't want anything from it. Just say it's just lovely. I love it. It's just nice. Be positive with it, okay? And whatever happens, it's a positive. It's a positive. And it is a positive. It's always a positive. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. It was an hour and some. I wanted to share that with you and to say thank you as a as a thank you for buying the Moldavite Trio, as well as trusting in my working crystals. I do, however, also suggest that you go to your local crystal store and support them as well. So that's always something that I like to go into crystal stores and buy from local crystal stores to support them. So you don't have to just buy from me. Just buy from your local crystal store. It's not why I've done this, but I've done it to say thank you for those who have, and for your ever beautiful support. And I will continue making these as long as people love them and want them. I don't think I'll ever stop making them. In fact, I've got a box coming in the next couple of days, which are about to arrive again. So I think for the first time ever, I don't know how many crystals or trios are on my website, but I think for the first time, oh, by the way, I managed to make some because I had a company in Czech Republic, 3 guys who called me and said, look, we've got half a kilo of small chips. We'll do it at this price. I know them personally. I got my friend to go there, check them out, and beautiful. When I got them, I sent them away and I brought them back. And now some of these are on my website, where there used to be a minimum of 165 to 300. I've got some of them on my website now that are 115, which is pretty good. You try and buy 3 of these crystals and mount them and see how much it costs. Fortune. So I think I'm happy that they're cheaper this time, and hopefully I can try and keep it up like that. I had some earrings made, but it's hard because to make them and to match them up is so hard. But we did really well, and they sold in about a couple of hours, something like that. So there were only 6 of them, but they're beautiful, and I just thought they were amazing. So that's it, guys. I'm wishing you all a lovely day. Thank you so much. I'm going to go home now. You see Lily there? She's been a great girl. She needs to go home and have a run around now. I'm wishing you all a lovely day, guys. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me on this Moldavite, Herkimer, Diamond and Tektite workshop. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's do it again. Love you all. Bye, Brendan. Bye, Peter. Bye, everybody. Bye, Anne. Bye, guys. Bye, Pink Diamond. Bye, Alan. Thanks for joining me. Bye, Mab. Thank you, everybody. Aurora, bye. Take care. Bye, Benjamin. Thank you so much. I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.